Sohrab Gologli's specialisation is spinal surgery, and several cases have been awaiting his visit. Among them is Teng Navi, a 13-year-old girl suffering from scoliosis, or curvature of the spine.
Three spines. Three new spines. Where are they? Three new spines? Yeah. Right. Okay, come on in.
Yeah, so this is a 13-year-old girl with scoliosis. Looks like she's got a little hemivertebra here.
1996.
Measuring the curve with a technique called the Cobb method, and then she also has this really bad curve like this.
13-year-old female, 42 degrees scoliosis.
Assisting in the operation will be Dr. Ucheng Nyep, the most senior of the centre's Cambodian surgeons.
When she goes to school, usually she's teased by her friend about her spine that's abnormal, it's curved. So that now she wants to have her spine straight like the other kid. That's why she wanted to have the operation.
So Niep is more or less my right hand. I would say he's one of the best surgeons I've ever met in my life. Not just Cambodia, ever. A guy who can come up, look at the new problem, is willing to take it on, learns how to deal with it, and can think straight within the parameters of that problem.
But Dr. Nyep wasn't always going to be a doctor. He'd wanted to be an engineer, but the Khmer Rouge changed all that.
What made you want to be a doctor?
I think at the time it was my father's death during the Khmer Rouge. I had wanted to be an engineer, but then I switched to be a medical doctor.
Just outside Phnom Penh, Cambodia's notorious killing fields, the site where thousands of victims of the Khmer Rouge lost their lives. Across Cambodia, it's estimated the genocide killed 2 million people. Anyone considered part of the educated elite was especially at risk, including the country's doctors.
I think before the Khmer Rouge, we have several hundred doctors, and then when the Khmer Rouge came to power, then all the doctors, all the officers, everybody had to leave the town to go to work on the rice field, and so on. And there, some or most of them get killed or were starved to death, something like that. Got a lot of torture. Then after the Khmer Rouge, I think only very few doctors come back alive.
The one I saw you yesterday with, and I said you could do the osteochondromas.
Still trying to rebuild the medical system, Cambodia remains heavily dependent on foreign help. But Dr. Nyep knows that one day they must become self-reliant.
I fully agree with the idea that the Cambodian doctor must not rely too much on the foreign doctors, because this is Cambodia, this is our country, so we should build our country by ourselves.
So if you figured out that it's going to
With that foreign help comes something of a culture clash, especially in the form of Dr. Jim Gologly.
Possibility or not? Why don't you just say to me, okay, we thought about that, it ain't going to work, right?
Hailing from an old-school medical tradition, his abrasive style is sometimes at odds with the younger generation, and often at odds with the softly spoken ways of the Cambodians.
Yeah, we need to find out what's wrong with that kid. Right. What's the matter with him? Do you know?
Broken leg.
A broken leg? Well, it doesn't wait for Dr. Niep. Bring him in now. Let me have a look at the x-ray. Has he got an x-ray?
I look at my dad and I have an incredible amount of admiration for him.
Broken leg?
I think that there are few people that could accomplish this, and I think that there are undeniable personality traits that some people would call dictatorial, some people would call bulldozer-like, that allow someone to come to a country like this and build a hospital up to the point where it does 4,000 operations a year.
So Glenn, cut it out. I did this whole operation without an IV. I don't want an IV now. Oh, hemogram. Why can't you stick it in the groin? I mean, it's just awful. I mean, you can basically take some blood right here, no problem, right? Okay? Whether I'm an explosive Irishman or whatever. No, if I say things nice and quietly, they don't always react. They don't always quite understand, and they don't understand it's a request or an order or anything like that.
Also, there's a generational thing. You know, as medicine has evolved, it used to be very common for people in the first world to have personalities like my dad. There used to be a lot more screaming and shouting. There used to be a lot more thrown instruments in the operating room. It used to be acceptable to kind of lose your temper. And now, of course, that's not the case anymore. I mean, we live in an environment where we're really good at what we do. We basically are following a flight plan. The expectation is that we're calm and, polite to everybody, and if not, we end up probably in some sexual harassment committee somewhere explaining our behavior to somebody else.
Me, when I started to know him, it became to me very strange when he shout, when he scream. But now I used to him. I know that he's a kind man.
Fingers out. You take this finger off now. You don't need these fingers. You don't need these fingers now. In Cambodia, because of the language problem, they're paying attention more to the tone than to what the words are. Very good, Sockling. Very good. Good. Got a name on and everything? Yeah. So I've got to change the tone depending on what I want done. And if I want something done, and I just say it nice and calmly, can we transfer this patient over there and let me know when it's done? It's just a conversation. They're not paying very much attention. But if I say, now transfer that patient over there and call me when it's finished, then it's far more likely to get done. And then I'll be less frustrated.
Very curved scene from the front of the spine.
Saurabh is quiet and very friendly. He will not shout. He's more patient. But Tim is this is a bit of difference between the father and the son.
It's with the son that Dr. Nyep will be working, as Teng Navi is prepared for her back operation.
So the way this will work is Nyep will do it. I do one half, and then Nyep does the other half. And in the process, get the operation done. So we'll give her a general anesthetic. She'll lie face down on the operating room table. It'll be a large incision. And then we're using older generation spinal instrumentation here. We have kind of a hodgepodge of different forms of instrumentation that have been available to us that we've scavenged over the years from various different hospitals and donations. And so we'll hook that up with two stainless steel instrumentation rods and place something that we call sublaminar wires underneath a portion of the spine and try to correct the spine as much as possible given the limits of the instrumentation that we have, and also the fact that this isn't really the most ideal setting in the world to do really, really aggressive correction. And if this was done back home in the United States, we'd have a neurologist monitoring spinal cord function. And the thing that we worry the most about is someone who has a cosmetic deformity of the spine that we know that's going to get worse over many years, has a spinal operation and wakes up paraplegic. So this is an example of how rare this case would be in the United States. Over a 25-year period, I think there may be 15 or 20 cases. I don't know that it's any more prevalent than it is in the United States. It's just that this is the only institution in the entire country of 12 million people that's at least going to look at these.